you feel if you were with someone then you fell for them and deeply cared, but they were selfish and had a plan when they lied, cheated, and instantly ran? How would you feel if they deceived you and didn't believe you when you said how much they mean to you when you held their hand? How would you feel if you asked for a final conversation? They agreed, but your pain made them lose their patience, and they leave you stranded when they don't understand. I wanna believe you cared at least a little bit in the beginning, but all I see is you were prepared and wished it was all ending. How would you feel? If it was all pretending? How would you feel if they refused to give you truth and honesty? Only excuses and blame tossed on me, elusive and probably across the street, talking to someone else like it's all for free. How would you feel if they moved on immediately and conveniently got engaged after just 3 weeks, like it was meant to be, but you were left empty and not expected to bleed? I wanna believe you cared at least a little bit in the beginning, but all I see is you were prepared and wished it was all ending. How would you feel? If it was all pretending? How would you feel if they did everything except try to give you peace, then got you sick but hid the medicine, didn't even bless you when you sneezed? How would you feel if they didn't care, if you would've died or were aware how much you would've tried to make them smile and wipe away their tears? How would you feel if you wore your heart on your sleeve, but they tore you apart from the start when they were ready to leave? I wanna believe you cared at least a little bit in the beginning, but all I see is you were prepared and wished it was all ending. How would you feel? If it was all pretending? How would you feel if 1 minute they adore you and the next you mean nothing to them, or you wasn't for them so they say awful things with nothing to defend? How would you feel if they gave up on you, but instead of just a breakup they stayed up with someone else and blamed you because your pain wasn't enough to stay in touch? How would you feel if they rather leave you in pain and not let you gather your remains than give you any peace? How would